Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another evening of Atari 2600 Gaming with Atari Man 71. Tonight we have three games on the list. We got Backgammon, we have 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, and we have Basic Programming. And like I've said before, these games maybe aren't the most exciting, but you know they are what they are. So to start off, we're gonna start with Backgammon. So Backgammon came out in 1979, and it uses the paddle controller. I have a rubber band on this one so that I know which one to use. So basically, with regard to this game, I didn't even know it existed until I began collecting in 1999. I never bothered playing it on Atari. Grew up because when I was growing up, because we played real backgammon with a real board and real checkers or whatever you call them. And I played it with my older brother. My grandmother kind of insisted that we learn to play the game. And even then, I mean, that game wasn't that exciting to play with another person, but to play it in a video game, it's really dry and really not. It, it ports well to the Atari. It's easy enough to play. I'll admit I didn't even play it in practice. I just made sure the cartridge worked, just because it's backgammon. And if you need to know the rules of backgammon, you can look them up outside of this video. There's also a game called AC Doocy, and in my research, I found out it came out of the Mediterranean, the Navy, the U.S. Navy that was stationed in the Mediterranean. There was a version of that. So if you roll a one or a two, it basically is like a wild card, and you can set it to whatever doubles would work for you, and then you automatically get to roll again. So it basically is probably a faster game to play. It might have to do with the military having gotten involved in it. They were stationed and would probably sit still for a long time, and then all of a sudden they need to be up and going. So boredom does creep in when you're not doing much. So anyway, VGR ratings for this game. The graphics came in as a 3, which is decent graphics, and playability is 4 for fun. So, you know, backgammon, I found out also because I played it as a kid. I guess it involves a lot of gambling, and there's this thing called a doubling cube, and the doubling cube, I think, doubles your wager, and if you don't look like you're going to win, you can resign, and the game is a push. But basically, it goes forward and raises the stakes to people, and pushes things higher. So I will load up the instructions for us to look at. Well, before I do that, I will switch on the game so you can see. I don't know if you're familiar with the board of backgammon, but I will turn off the static first and then turn on game. So this is what the board game of backgammon looks like. There's a board, there's the pieces. The colors are incorrect here because it's there. I think they're two contrasting colors in real life. They're not the blue and the green you see here, but they're something else when you play. I think they're red and white. You use 2 dice, you roll those, and then you move your pieces around the board. You can either move one piece, both of the numbers, but you can't stop where someone else has a piece, or you can move 2 pieces, but they have to be split with what's shown on the dice. So there's some rules. If you can knock people onto the bar, which is the section in the middle, and then they have to re-enter the playing field. It's basically the simple rules of backgammon. But and reset the game. Oh wait, no. I did. Well, it rolls the dice. You don't roll the dice. Let me go back to the instructions and see which is a 1 player. I don't need to bring you with me. Page 16. Okay, so there's 1 player in game 1. So We will reset the game. So 9. So now here I marked the controller with the rubber band and it was wrong. There we go. That must have been for Breakout. That's coming up this week as well. So it's 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See how it flashes when I go over the red pieces? Oh, he's gonna knock me. So now I have a piece that I have to bear on, or put onto. Oh, he knocked both of them. Great. Thanks. 6 and 1. So I'm gonna knock one of his pieces off. Why can't I? This is 1. Oh, yeah. So I think I need to pass on this one. Yeah, you can't play that until you get both pieces on the field. Oh my God, this guy's ruthless. I hope I get a 1 and knock that piece all the way out. And he's gonna knock it. Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did. Ass. Yeah. See how you like your 1. See, that's the risk. And he's putting a lot of pieces here. So now I'm gonna knock his piece all the way back on. And I can bear off both pieces. So he's protecting that piece there. So here, I'm going to put this piece off, and I'm going to move this piece to protect that piece. I think that says no double. Okay, so here, two, 3. Oh, I'm going the other way. Oh, I'm going this way. Oh, that's 3. That's why. Okay, so I knocked one up again. Now I'm putting myself at risk here because I got two singles here on the board. I know he's going to have to bring one piece down. So he's protecting his pieces too because 2 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe. No, it's the blue. One, two. One, two, three, four, five, six. No, you can't do them all at one wave. You gotta do that, and then you gotta do that. Like I said, it's not a very exciting game. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he's gonna knock me back. Yep. Now see, this is getting dangerous because now he's got me in a situation where maybe 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he gets a 6 or any combination of 6. Yep, he's gonna knock me back in. Two. So you see how this game. Oh, it's 3. Sorry. And then 6. Ooh, I got doubles. So now this is fortunate. So now you're going to see what doubles do. Doubles really give you a boost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. So then, let's see if this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. So in AC Doocy, I would have gotten to go again even. Okay, so now I have 3, 2. So I'm going to protect this guy and protect this guy. Okay, so you're seeing here how how kind of boring this is. So I'm gonna end this here, but I have a little issue. Ah, that's why. Okay. So you see, this is a pretty boring game. Um, you could play it for a long time, but I don't have that much time on my stream, and it's already 7:20. So game one down, two more to go. So now we're gonna move on to 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. So for that game takes the joystick. So I'll need to unplug my paddles first. Sorry. If you hear my dog barking, sorry. It's springtime and people are out, and she's just not happy about it. They're walking close to our house. And how dare they? So, paddles out of the way. So 3D tic-tac-toe. So joystick. I grab my joystick. And I'm, again, playing with the Wicco Commander, I think it's called. I actually like this joystick a lot. The ease of use, it's pretty easy to use. I was playing it on the weekend, and I freaked out a little bit because it stopped working all of a sudden. So I hopped on eBay and bought two more of them, actually. Somebody was selling them pretty cheap. So, but it turned out that the contacts on the plug were just dirty. I cleaned the 2600, the pins on the back where the controller connects, and I cleaned the holes in the plug on the controller, and it worked fine. So we'll see if that still works. 3D tic-tac-toe. So let me get to my script here, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So 3D tic-tac-toe was released in 1980. It plays with the joystick. And I'll admit, I knew someone that had it. I believe my cousin had it, and I just passed over it. I turned it on, I looked at it, and I said, what is this? Tic-tac-toe has never really been that exciting to me. And to making it 3D just made it take longer. And I thought it should have been 27 squares instead of I think it's 48. Because tic-tac-toe is 3 in a row, tic-tac-toe. And this is 4 in a row, but I guess it's made from a game called Cubic. That's really what it's designed. I guess they couldn't get access to that name. So basically, you move around on 4 levels of the board to place your X or your O in your selected square. The object is to get 4 in a row in any direction, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, or on a single plane, or using all 4 planes. And the game is for 1 or 2 players. So the graphics are rated 3 for decent graphics, and I have trouble with that. These aren't the best graphics, but I guess for representing the game, they're decent. Playability is 5 for irresistible. I think it's a little bit like Connect 4 because you can surprise people. And I played it one game over the weekend, and I got surprised that I lost because the computer did a move. I was paying attention to the left of the screen, and on the right of the screen, all of a sudden, he had 4 in a row. So it is difficult to see. I think as you go along and play it more, you recognize patterns and things like that, and then you'll see these patterns in the game, and you can recognize them to block them. Or like in tic-tac-toe, there's certain moves you can do that guarantee you're going to win. I guess the same thing is true in this game. So, and it's probably true in Connect 4 as well. So let me get a drink here. I want to go first. So, all right, back to the game. So I am the O's, I believe, in this because the cursor flashes X when you're the X. So it said the middle. So I'm going to go right here. Oh, this is a 2-player game. Hold on. 1-1. See, so it's flashing, but the computer's not going. So 2-1. So I'll do this. Hmm. All right, hold on. I'm going to put them both down to B because I know over the weekend when I played, they were both at B. Okay, so he went. So it says my outside. That's a strong position. So now he's going right there. So I'm going to go here. So I'm going to build a diagonal up. Oh, I'm an idiot. It was already blocked. And he knew it. So I'm going to block this right now. Uh-oh. My joystick's having the same problem I had this weekend, everyone. Oh, no. All my plugs are popping out. Oh, that's what you get for using old technology, right? It's fidgety. Okay. Okay, let's start again. So he went. So I'm going to go. So he went. So my up is working again. Boy, he's killing me here. Yeah, he got 4 in a row. So the computer won. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was looking at my own moves and trying to make my own moves. You got to think defensively. So that was a pretty quick demo of how not to play. And this is on skill level 1, and I'm losing. So it's a tricky game. I think the more you play it, it actually that's the second game I've ever played of 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, and it is pretty enjoyable. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a terrible game because the game works pretty well. So that's 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, and as you see, there's strategy. If you enjoy Connect 4, if you enjoy Tic-Tac-Toe for that matter, I think you'll enjoy this game. The last game on my list today is pretty complicated, so there's a little bit of setup. I need to plug in 2 keyboard controllers, and I just purchased the actual keyboard controllers. I also purchased the set of templates, so that's another thing that actually you don't really see come up that often. At least I've not seen them come up that often. You know, the templates in all the games tended to get lost. You know, the cartridges stayed around, but the templates, you know, they're. Oops. Sorry about that. That was obviously pretty loud. The templates tended to get lost and discarded easily. You know, when people weren't playing the games, it was like, what is this? It's similar to the manuals. The manuals didn't really get kept either. Um, and I don't really collect those kind of things, but with basic programming, um, you kind of have to have the templates to do the programming. You can get them online, and that's what I've done. I've printed them out here. Um, but I think I'm going to open them in my browser because they're just the printout didn't come out that well. I didn't blow it up, and my eyesight is not what it used to be. So I'm gonna be 50 this year, and I need cheaters. All right, so you need to keep left and right um, because there's different commands to each one, and then they slide together in a single individual controller here. So, I'll go over the instructions briefly. Oh, that's the other thing. This game really, you couldn't really do that much with it, and we can't go over the instructions yet because I didn't read the history of the game. So let me go over my history with this game. So game 3 is basic programming. It was released in 1979, and it used the keyboard controllers as I showed you. When my parents bought us an Atari, and I think I was talking with my brother, and I think it was like 81 that they bought it for us, maybe the fall of 1981. Um, this was one of the first games they got for us, and my dad was super excited because he was basically a computer programmer in '81, and he he wanted to get us kids involved in it. He said it's the future. You need to get into programming, and you know this really couldn't do that much, and he thought that he could teach us and get us excited about it with this game. And I remember him saying, "You can write your own games with this, and you could become a millionaire." And I think it got used a couple times. My dad sat down, he went through the sample programs, and that was it. There's not really a lot you can do. So the programs are restricted to 64 characters in size and 9 lines of code. You know, this really limited what you could do. It's very basic programming. Um, I know when we got a PC, maybe a couple years later, I really did start doing some basic programming on it, and I made some games and stuff like that. Just text-based games. There were a lot of those out in the '70s. Everything had moved on to graphics, but I was a kid and I was, writing code in BASIC, and I was, using subroutines and stuff like that. Things that a normal 13-year-old doesn't really necessarily do, but I was learning it, and I got a, went on, and I didn't get a degree in anything computers. I got a minor in my degree in software engineering, though. So, um, I guess it all started with this game. Thanks, Dad. And you'll see, you really can't create a lot of things with so few lines of code and so few characters. But memory was restricted in these systems. This is not a personal computer. This is very limited. Even the programmers at Atari had to jump through hoops to create some of these games that we played and tossed aside um, because they were so restricted. And at the time, it was groundbreaking. But compared to what you can do nowadays, if you would drop, um, MAME and a bunch of ROMs into a kid's lap in 1981, you know, he would have thought you were a god. It's like, how did you do this? How did you possibly do this? And now we look at MAME, and everyone's like, well, it's out there, but those are all old video games and such. Not really worth playing. So anyway, that was my history with the game. The graphics are rated as 4 with good graphics, and the playability is 3. That's worth playing. So I don't know why the graphics are rated so high. I mean, it's really just text. There is a graphical screen, and there's a program in here that does like a fake Pong game. But the uh, the graphics are really just text. So I guess the fact that they were able to do that and actually create a game that would allow you to program, do inputs and change things and see how it reacted. And basically get you interested in programming. Okay, so here's what you have. You have status, program, stack, variables, and output. So for this program, so I'm going to push the top left button, turn off the status. Oh, there's the graphics area. So we want the program, which is the middle top button. We don't need the stack, so that's the memory. We don't need variables because we don't really need to track them. Output we do need, but there is no graphics on this one, I don't believe, so we'll turn the graphics out. Maybe I'll turn that back on because the original program I just used the output and I didn't like the way that it came out. So we'll see once I get this written how it comes out. So I'm going to have to refer back to the manual and the picture of the controller. So you know, I might do this a little slowly. So first we need to enter a clear command on line 1. And clear is, see, that's the problem is I have to hunt. I guess the more time you spend with it, the easier it gets. I'm sorry, my eyes are just terrible. Oh, clear. Okay, so the left controller, or the right controller, third row down, first button. So, oh, and it is green. So the color is controlled by the cursor. So right now the cursor is white in the program area. So I'm going to push once, it goes to red. Push twice, it goes to blue. Push 3 times, it goes to green. The 4th time, it'll go back to white. So we'll enter clear. So now we need to go back to white and then create a new line. And the new line is, sorry, I'm pulling up the wrong thing. The new line is the right controller, the bottom row, the third one. So that's clear. Or that's new line. So now if I go back to the program says I need to assigned a plus 1 mod 60. So mod is basically a function, and so it basically explains in the book what mod does, but it's basically a mathematical function where if there's a remainder, it dumps it, and you know, it just, when it becomes 60, it goes to 0. So it mod keeps the remainder. So it would be 1 divided by 60, which is remainder 1, so it becomes 1. A becomes assigned 1. So A is currently 0. You get the plus 1 where it assigns it to 1. Then 1 divided by 60 is remainder 60, so A is assigned 60. So then A is 1, it goes to A plus 1, which is 2. You divide it by 60, it's remainder 2, so the remainder 2 gets assigned to A. So it's just basically a function to you know, increment the second counter. So let me call up my controller. See, this is where if I had the templates, it would be good. So A is left controller, top row, the first button in the middle, which is blue, which is A. So blue, A, and then is assigned. That little arrow is assigned. So if you look over 2 buttons, under stack, there's a red arrow. So we got to switch it to red, and then push that, and then switch it back to blue to put the A again. And then we need to do the plus, which is red on that same one, that same button. So we switch to red, plus, and then the number 1, which is red on the right keypad, top row, first button. Okay, and then A equals A plus 1 mod 60. So mod 60. So mod is the green button on the left controller or the right controller. these these templates that I have, the picture is backwards. The right controller, third row, and the green or the middle button. So so I switch it to green, and then mod, and then I need 60, and numbers are red, so we go 6. And 0 is not, so if you don't have the template, there's a 0 on the keypad, but 0 is the hashtag. So, and then I need to switch it to white and go new line. Ooh, I can't see it now because it went off the screen. So I'm going to turn the graphics screen off for now. What happened here? I'm so used to having a cursor. Let's turn the output out. This didn't happen to me when I was playing the game over the weekend. So let's turn off output. I want to turn off program and turn it back on. So there's an erase button. So I'm going to have to reset. I'm sorry. And I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. All right, clear was there, so that was green. For some reason, it went away. Ugh. Hitting the wrong button. And then A, it's green. No, it's red. So, A plus 1, and that was mod is green. Mod 60. New line. Okay, so now we're back to where we were. So the next line of the program says if A equals 0, then B assigned B plus 1 mod 60. So it's basically every time A goes to 0, B increases 1. And then, you know, B increases until it goes to 60 minutes, and then you could go C, which would be an hour, and we're not going to do all that. So I'm going to enter this program, and then we'll I'm going to call up my template again. I'm sorry, I'm switching between all these screens. Okay, so we need to go to green. Ooh. A. Where's the equals? There it is. Equals number 0. 0 is there. Just a moment, I'm going to see if there's a comma or anything. Nope. So yeah, so this code is very simple because they didn't really have a lot to work with. I mean, the fact that they made something that you could write a program and make it do different things on this console is pretty amazing. Then B And I'll have to admit, you know, if you've done programming before, there's a logic behind it. And this is basic. I mean, this is what basic was. It was very basic. Where was mod again? That was over here. Mod, and then 60. No, that's Z. Whoops. So you can erase. It says erase. So there's an erase and a delete. Oh. Not the most responsive controllers. Mod red 6 0 and then white new line. Okay, so now you have print B comma A. So print so this will print on the screen the contents of the B variable. And then I think that's comma right there. Like I said, my eyes are not so great anymore. And then new line. And then it says go to 1. So that makes the program cycle through itself forever. So it just basically counts minutes and seconds. And but it only counts up to 60 minutes. And then it's a 1 hour timer basically. And then it resets. So I'm on the computer. Okay, that's just keep mine in the fridge. Go to and then line 1 of the program. Okay, and so then that's it. That's the program. And basically it just steps through 60 minutes for 60 minutes, and then it goes back to, the counter goes back to 0. We won't wait for the whole thing. I'm almost done. So so basically I'll sit here and I'll run it. So run is the left controller. All the way at the bottom there's a run and a halt. So, and then you can step through the program. If you know debugging and things like that, you know what it does. So I'll step first and it'll go up to the top of the program. Oh, maybe I hit step last time. Okay, so I'm going to show the output. So the output here is clear. So that's what it did. So now I'm going to run through it, and you'll see the cursor run through it, and then it'll do an output in the output area. So here I hit run, so it's stepping through 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7. And so I didn't like how this looked. I didn't like how this ran, basically. So I'm going to step through this. Okay, and so I'm going to insert something here in the program and take something away earlier in the program. So basically, you know, when you have a clock, it doesn't blip and then the seconds go away, right? It stays with the 1 second until 2 seconds happens. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a new line in here and put the clear command here and delete it from, oops, well, so I put 2 lines in. So let me see if I hit erase. It does not do anything. So I'm going to step through again. While I'm here, erase, and line 1 won't go away. So I'm taking it out from the beginning of the program. So I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen with having these 2 lines in here. because I know what I did last time, and I'm not going to rewrite this whole program. This just takes too long to do. And so now I'm going to put the clear in here. Maybe I'll put it on the next line so that it doesn't do anything on this line. It doesn't pause on it. So clear, the clear command was over here. It's a green. And clear. Okay. So now I'm going to turn the program off because it's taking up too much space. So I'm going to switch to white and turn the program off. And I'm going to hit the run button. So now it's doing it again. See, last time I did that, all right, halt. Go back to the program. So last time I did that, it actually kept it on the screen up until it printed the next output. But, you know, I kind of messed up here and I put 2 lines in because it's not that good. And then also I messed with the speed, which is in the status area. And you see it's on 30. And I had to speed it up to 60 the last time. Something happened where it slowed it down. The empty line, the one empty line and the clear command added in there, added time to the clock cycle. And so I had to speed it up to get it to work properly. So, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, I messed the program up at the very last minute. You know, it's a tedious thing to do. These programs take a long time to write. I don't have the overlays, so playing with it and working with it is a little more difficult because I have to refer to my computer screen and then back to the controller and back to the computer screen again for the Atari, and it's just a miserable experience and basically is reminiscent of how my childhood worked. So there wasn't, you know, my dad was constantly trying to teach us to do computer things, and I guess it took a little bit because I have this game. I cared enough to buy the controller pads. You can also use 2 Star Raiders touch pads, which are buttons that are a little easier to press. I don't know if these keyboard controllers were implemented for any other game. You know, I think people complained that the button push was too difficult for children. And so they made it with the touchpad pad, which is like a membrane, like a remote control, with a little magnet on the back of it. I think they're magnets, and they, you know, they worked how they worked, but they were a little easier for a kid to push that than it was to push these heavy duty industrial buttons. It's basically because that technology didn't exist at the time. The controllers for the 2600, I don't know if you've ever broken them apart, but it's a circuit board with a little copper template taped to the top of it that completes the contact from the circuit board every time you push it. That's why those old controllers are so reliable. The 5200 had the rubberized parts, and you know they basically made it so that it was easier to use, and you know those failed a lot. They broke a lot. I remember as a kid, my best friend had a 5200, and you know he really wouldn't let us play with it that often because you know some games you really push hard on the joystick, and he was worried they'd get broken. And so I understand his concern there, you know, because even though his dad was pretty generous with him with his Atari stuff, you know, I look back and I'm like, man, he had this game, he had that game, he had this system, he had all 3 Ataris. I don't know if he had a Nintendo, because at that point, you know, you're in high school and video games were played a lot less often, you know. But his dad was pretty generous with him, and you know, we made fun of his dad a lot because his dad was kind of dorky, but you know, he did jazzercise and things like he's passed on now, but it it really was you know a different time, but I will digress. It's 8 o'clock. It's past 8 o'clock. So I hope you enjoyed this evening. I know it was pretty boring, pretty dry, but I have some pretty exciting new games coming up soon. So we'll see how that goes, and I will see you later. Thank you for watching the show. As usual, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, because I will load this onto YouTube for those of you who missed it and want to see it later. Thank you. Have a good evening. Oh, be safe, be healthy, keep your social distance, wash your hands, do all that stuff too.